We're doing that now. Let's hear from the man himself, the ambitious Jim Daly. Welcome to Kelver Kennels here in Wisbech, the home of greyhound trainer Jim Daly, and it has been since last December when he managed to buy this place with the help of two of his biggest owners, footballers Steve Morrison and Grant Holt. There's no doubt about it, here at Kelver Kennels he's really fulfilling his dreams. So Jim, when did your interest in greyhound racing start and what was the reason?
I started probably around about the age of 12. I used to go to Wimbledon with my stepfather and my brother-in-law Peter. Loved watching the dogs race, but really I suppose it was from a betting point of view that I first got involved in it. You know, having a small flutter on the dogs with my paper round money and such like.
How did it go from that to being the big-time trainer that you are?
I used to, sometimes if I had no money, I'd go down to Wimbledon and just watch the dogs. And then it became less of a betting situation. From then, I just had this huge desire to have a dog myself. So I got a couple of greyhounds and I raced them at a local flapping track called Aldershot, which is sadly no longer there. But that's how I got started in the training side of it.
And am I right in saying that you used to work for the Racing Post as well for a while?
That's right, that was one of my first jobs on leaving school. I went to the Racing Post as a messenger boy, got to know the guys on the greyhound desk, and I kept hounding them for information and tips and stuff. And they took me on board, and Mike Palmer it was who was in charge at the time. He gave me a chance as a trainee journalist on the greyhound desk.
Greyhound racing can be a pretty political sport and certainly has its ups and downs, but is this a career that you enjoy?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I'm really lucky that I've got a job that, you know, I don't even see it as a job. You've got your social life all rolled into your working environment, and it's great being around the dogs. I love the dogs, they're a beautiful breed, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else, to be honest.
Where were you based before you ended up here at Kelver?
We was at Wyndham, just outside of Norwich. We had a little kennel there. It was quite basic facilities. A little bit depressing at times because it wasn't a place that I was proud of. We was kind of forced there through situations, but you know, we're glad to be out of there now. We've got a place here that we really are proud of, and we seem to be moving forward nicely.
What was your success like at your old kennels? What would you say was your best sort of moment in the sport?
Without a doubt, it'll be Jester's Nap winning the Puppy Derby 2008 at Wimbledon. Great moment, you know, fantastic moment. A dog that we bred ourselves, and he was a lovely puppy. And it was great for that to really come off. We had a nice touch on it as well, 33-1 anti-post. It done all the owners in the kennel a huge favour. So that will always stick long in the memory.
They come round the final bend, and it's Jester's Nap with his 2.5 length lead around that final turn, and Jester's Nap is away and gone. Track 3, Jester's Nap has romped home. A great success for the small man here.
So despite training greyhounds in far from ideal conditions, and you were explaining that they were, you know, living in darkness and things like that, you still had this success. You must have had big dreams then.
I've always had big dreams, yeah. I actually went to take out my first licence at the age of 21. My ambition was to be the youngest greyhound trainer in the country. Unfortunately, the NGRC at the time, they refused me a licence on the grounds of inexperience. So I'd invested a lot of time and my own money into that venture, and it was really disheartening to get knocked back. But I stuck with the game. I worked as head man to a few decent people. Tony Tugwell at Reading and Portsmouth for about 10 years. Then I went on to Charlie Lister, Linda Jones. So I've had a good grounding, and I don't think they could have said I was inexperienced when they eventually did give me my licence.
Is it fair to say that meeting Steve Morrison and Grant Holt was a turning point in your career?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. There was times at the old kennels when, you know, like you just touched on there, we had no electricity, everything ran off of a generator, we had very poor drainage. There was times there when I seriously felt like giving up. I didn't feel that we was doing the dogs justice by being there, and it was on a roundabout that we couldn't get off of. We could never find somewhere to move on to better ourselves at that point. And Stephen Grant came along. We went to the awards in London one night, and on the way back they asked me, you know, how I see the future, and I said I really need to get out of where I am. I'm not happy there. They said find a place, if it's any good we'll buy it. So I said I've got a place that I really fell in love with. I brought them up here within a week, showed them this place. They could see what I was on about, and I'm, you know, just grateful that they fell in love with it just as much as I did.
Even prior to that, though, you mentioned you went to the awards in London together. They'd put greyhounds with you. How did it come about, that whole relationship between you and them?
The relationship started with just Steve. It was just an email out of the blue, inquiring into a share of a pup that we were syndicating at the time. And then Gemma picked up the email, tried phoning the number. She got the name wrong, and Steve put the phone down first time. Luckily, she realised she had made a mistake, so she phoned him back, and she was a little bit surprised to find out that Steve Morrison was the one inquiring, and you know, he was a Norwich City centre forward at the time. So it was just really a chance thing. You know, Steve had just dropped us an email. He came up the kennels, met us, we had a good chat, just hit it off straight away.
And then more recently, Ladbrokes have got involved here as well. How did that happen?
Yeah, that was another chance meeting with Steve and Alex from Ladbrokes. There was a Trainers' Championship meeting at Yarmouth. They were sitting nearby on tables in the restaurant, and Alex just threw it out there to Steve, what about we coming in and sponsoring the racing club? Steve put the idea to me, and you know, it's a great association to have. How many trainers have got a leading bookmaker involved in sponsorship in their kennels? So, you know, we're really proud of their involvement.
Who's the boss out of you and Stephen Grant? Because they have a big involvement here, don't they? I know that your phone is red hot constantly, courtesy of Steve. Yeah,
Stephen Grant, they see themselves as owners. They want this kennel to develop. They know it's my business. They trust me 100%. They'll run everything by me before anything happens. If I need anything, then I just go back to them with it. It's a really good relationship. I don't feel any pressure whatsoever, and you know, that's, you know, hopefully it will stay like that, because if it does, we've got a long and successful relationship together.
Yeah, good to hear the thoughts of Jim Daly there, and particularly in relation to the Daly's feature. This gives you a bit more insight into exactly what his setup is. Have a look at this. Jim Daly moved into his Kelver House and Kennels in Wisbech in December 2013 and is enjoying his newfound independence.
We've always had people that we're renting the kennels off of living on site, so for the first time we've got that security, that peace of mind, knowing that we're only 30 paces away from our kennel block, and we can pop in there whenever we like and just see that the greyhounds are all happy and well.
And Stephen Grant actually transformed the house for you as well.
Yeah, they've invested a lot of money into this place. You know, not just the facilities for the greyhounds, which is, you know, a massive thing to them, but also to the property itself. They refurbished the kitchen, the bathroom, they put new flooring down, new carpets down, redecorated. They've really invested in the property as much as they have the kennels.
Was this place like a dream for you, and how do you feel about it now?
Oh, absolutely. We was trying to rent it off of Max, who owned it before, for a few years, and we could never quite get a deal together. You know, I would have just loved to have come in here and rented it. The fact that the boys have actually bought it and taken that pressure away, in a sense, is great, because, you know, we can come here and do our job, and, you know, the greyhounds are absolutely loving the environment they've got now, and it couldn't have worked out better.
So how many greyhounds have Stephen Grant got here now, and then how many other greyhounds have you got?
They've got quite a few greyhounds themselves, probably about 7 or 8, and they've also got the greyhounds in the SMGH Racing Club, which is sponsored by Ladbrokes. Total, we've probably got around 60 greyhounds here. Some of those are puppies, and most of them are race dogs.
Tell us about the pups, because they're laying out here in the sunshine looking absolutely gorgeous. How many litters do you try to breed a year?
Yeah, they're having a good relaxing session in the sun today. We've got 2 litters. We do 2 litters a year. These are 6-month-old. There's 2 litters in total. There's 1 litter by Express Destiny. She was a good open race bitch, won a race round Hove. And her sire is Sparta Maestro. And the other litter is Norfolk Canary. And her sire, the sire of that litter, is Ace High Rumble. So they're 6 months old. We started schooling a few of them. Their instinct's good, so we're hoping for the best.
Is it a side of the job that you like, breeding?
Without a doubt. It's lovely to bring your own dogs through. And I've watched Nick Saber over the years. It's amazing how many champions he's produced himself without having to go over to Ireland and spend fortunes on buying them. So if I could in some way emulate that, I mean, we did in some ways emulate that with Jester's Nap winning the Puppy Derby, but to do it on a regular basis, that would be a great thing to do.
So just tell us a bit about this, your dream kennels. You've got pups obviously here. You've got how many gallops behind us?
We've done 6 gallops, you can see behind you, and they're 120 metres long, 5 metres wide. We're going to get them resurfaced so that there's a nice sound surface during the summer months. It'll probably get a little bit too hard during the summer months here.
And then behind us up there, you've got a derelict kind of schooling track that you're thinking of redeveloping.
Yeah, the schooling track's been run down and it needs a lot of work, to be honest with you. It's completely overgrown. Needs all the weeds killing off, needs a lot of fence repairing and possibly a new hair system, but that's on the back burner for now. Our priority is getting the gallops resurfaced, some of the puppy pens redesigned so we can keep more puppies in pairs rather than big litters, just to keep it nice and safe.
And tell us about the actual kennel block itself. How much work have you done to that since you've been here?
Yeah, it's had a lot of painting and decorating and some repair works. And also we've put in a heating system as well, so in the winter months it'll be nice and warm for the dogs.
What are your hopes here now? What are you planning for the immediate future?
This year we'd like to finish in the top 20 on the Open Race League. Within 2 years we'd like to be hitting the top 10. So, we've still got a long way to go. We need more owners, a good class of dogs coming through all the time. We've got a great setup here. We're not overly expensive with our kennel fees. We've got a great, it's a great opportunity for owners to get involved with us as well.
And then if you think slightly longer term, what are you looking to be achieving? Big competition wins, maybe the Derby?
Without a doubt, yeah. We want to be a successful open race kennel and we want to be involved in all the major competitions.
It's been wonderful here today, and I think the thing that really shines through from you and your staff, you're really enjoying life, aren't you?
Yeah, I love life. I've never been happier than since I've been here. I've got so much enjoyment just being around the countryside and having peace of mind with the dogs just on my doorstep now. It's a lovely environment to work the dogs.
That's wonderful.
And so I've never really been happier.
Yeah, beautiful.